couple of years back, I was having dinner with this person who was well known for her strong negotiation skills and conflict resolution and critical thinking in the corporate world. But I noticed peculiar behaviors. Like when we were in the middle of a conversation, she would abruptly turn her head and very aggressively call out to the server, complaining that the table was not clean, or that the water was not kept properly by her side. And I could see that while she was having a conversation with me, she was totally focused. And she was very well spoken. But the moment she found some discomfort somewhere, something that was not to her liking, she would immediately either call the server or, would complain very strongly about things not being okay. So when we parted, I could see a visible discomfort in her demeanor. However, we did the formalities and we said goodbye, and that was the end of it. But the thing is that when we are not present with ourselves, and there is an undercurrent of anxiety in our interactions, the quality of interaction becomes poor. What makes an interaction beautiful, fulfilling, is the ability to be present with a relaxed nervous system. Now, we have been told to train the mind, and people can train their mind in different ways. But you see, mind by nature is fickle, is a wanderer, as Ramana Maharishi said. So there will be time when the mind will turn against you. But if you can access the dimension that is beyond, the dimension that illumines the mind, which is the pure presence, then you will find that your interactions with people become more steady, more comfortable, more fulfilling. I was listening to a short video a couple of days back, where a relationship expert was saying that in conflict between two people who are in relationship, what predicts their longevity in their relationship is their ability to handle conflict without being in the fight or flight mode. For most of us, our interaction with others, whether it's a romantic association or business association or anything in general, or friendships, the quality of our interaction depends on our ability to be present. So when we do not lose the sight of ourself, we are not perturbed by what the other person is saying or doing. We see them as they are. We see that the conditioning is activated at the time of interaction. And there is this natural detachment from the content that is being projected. Now, why does this happen? Why is there an undercurrent of anxiety in our associations, in our relationships, in the situation that we are in when we are present with others? It is usually the case that we have held on to a personal story for a very long time. Sometimes the ignorance which comes across as feelings of unworthiness gets trapped in the body. And every time a trigger happens, the mind interprets that as something bad and immediately tries to find a solution. But what if, instead of trying to find a solution to the so perceived problem, we attend to this problem of ignorance, of feeling unwhole, unworthy, dirty, of feeling that we don't deserve happiness, of feeling that we need something on the outside to be happy. When we demand that we need something from the outside to be happy, we are generally ignoring what is within, the content, the story that is running within. And this whole current of forces that are acting in that moment on the organism are producing certain reactions, which are usually unpleasant. We somehow live with this idea that we are limited entities and that we have to prove ourselves. And to prove ourselves, we need acceptance of the world. We need validation from the world. So we try our level best to become better, to become smarter, to acquire more money, more resources, be more influential, learn a multitude of skills to impress others, to prove that we are whole, we are worthy. And when we are attached to that idea that unless I acquire something externally, unless the world does not give me the validation that I need, I'm unhappy. Then I remain unhappy for the rest of my life. That story becomes stronger with time. And that is unconsciousness, because we know that nothing external ever works. But we still keep chasing. We still keep running. It starts with the fundamental assumption that I am limited. If you live with this strong belief that you will not be loved unless you receive validation externally, then the life will be a roller coaster of intense pain. There will be intermittent reinforcements through your actions when you will receive accolades, when you will receive validation from the world. And you will experience it as a high, as an excitement. But then there will be the dips. And the magnitude of the dips, of the lows, will be as big as the magnitude of the highs. So what is the solution? Let's say you have accumulated these impressions in your life and you have created a certain image about yourself. You say that I am this, I am that. This is my culture, this is my religion, these are my likes, these are my dislikes. This is the way I am. You can believe that you are highly sensitive. Anything for that matter. But what is at the substratum of it? Have you ever paid attention to that? Because these are all thoughts. And we know that thought is transient. But what is that which is eliminating all this content? If you can shift your awareness to that, then there will be an instantaneous realization, recognition, or dropping away of the story. That does not mean that the momentary discomfort will not be there. In daily interactions, you will come across conflicts, and those conflicts will produce pain. But overall, you will not lose the sight of your true nature, which is this pure presence, which is arising here and now. You will never lose your self, the eternal self, which is your most intimate experience, which is the substratum, the groundless ground of everything. All perception is made possible from this self. So when there is a recognition of this self, there will never be a need to seek fulfillment externally. The locus of your discomfort is not out there, it is within. Whenever you react to a given situation, it is because fundamentally you're trying to run away from yourself. The small self, the image which you have formed in your mind as I am this or I am that. And you have so much solidified these ideas about yourself. And the mind has convinced you that this is the way you are. And you cannot change. And you will always be like this. You generally evaluate that from your triggers. But you see, it changes. Why? Because life by nature is change. Yes, it may take time. It may take a lot of time, but it changes. And it can change even this instant if the story is seen for what it is. There is nothing that you need to let go of because there is no one to let go of anything. Till you believe that you are separate from the rest, you will keep fighting for their attention. And the more attention you seek from the world, the more you will diminish your own light. The more you will be detached from your own presence, which is the most natural state, the most peaceful state. But when you have recognized that your nature is this presence, this pure light, then nothing externally can perturb you. Will it bring momentary discomfort? Obviously, that cannot be stopped. But will it become your story? No. Self-realization is the end of me and my story. When the story ends, the separation ends. When the separation ends, there is nothing to seek from the world. There is no world. There is just this, whatever is arising here and now. And that is the liberation, the freedom that the masters speak about. After that realization, the biological organism, which by nature is peaceful, acts and reacts according to their conditioning without holding on to anything, which is peace. But when we fight for attention, fight for validation, fight for acceptance, it is the separate self. And as this sense of separation is more in us, there will be this undercurrent of anxiousness, which will be very, very much visible in our interaction with the others. Now, we may not be able to see it, but others can see. They can see you, they can sense your energy. You must have noticed that there are some people who are so peaceful that you feel like sitting in their presence and talking to them. Even if you don't understand what they are saying, because the peace they exude calms you. And also, there are people who are so anxious that you cannot bear to sit even 1 minute in their presence. What is the difference? The difference is that the person who is peaceful has seen the story for what it is. That person is not attached to their past, to their story, and that does not create a future anticipation of what will happen or what should or should not happen. Whereas the person who is anxious is always afraid, always scared of what will happen in the future, and totally ignoring this present moment, the joy of being alive in this very moment. They are so much concerned with what will happen in the future, or they are totally trapped in the past. This happened to me, that happened to me, my life was not perfect, my childhood was not perfect, I had trauma, I had this, I had that. Now, it is not to discount the traumas that we experience in our life. We certainly take note that yes, there are certain things that scar us, that scar the body, but they scar the body, not you. And at some point, you have to let go of those scars. I'm not talking about the physical scars, I'm talking about the psychological scars. Because if you keep reminding yourself of those scars through your story, you will seek more and more validation from the external world. You will run after people who will try to calm you by telling you that you are fine, you are perfect, you are okay. But you internally will never believe them because you're so attached to your wounds. This may sound very insensitive, but try to look at it from this perspective. You become what you're holding on to. Everything is an identification. Survivor, victim, oppressor. Jiddu Krishnamurti said that the oppressor is the oppressed. To be able to drop the story changes the pattern. Otherwise, our life is governed by a series of patterns that are destructive to our relationships, to our associations. They hurt people who are very close to us, and they hurt ourselves too. It is up to us. We can keep living unconsciously, or we can simply go inwards and investigate into the nature of this separation which is causing all these reactions. Now, going inwards is challenging, it is difficult. But that is the only pathway. That is the only pathway to wholeness. That is the only pathway to mitigating this boundary between the internal and the external, and realize that everything is one seamless whole. Till you are divided in your beliefs, till your mind is fragmented, you will search for comfort. You will search for easy life. You will search for escapes from your pain, from your misery, from your suffering. And in that, your suffering even perpetuates more and more, as the very act of seeking relief from all of this to avoid pain perpetuates more suffering, creates more unhappiness. Because unconsciously you are being governed by an algorithm which has a storage, and the storage is your story. I am like this, so you make demands. I should be treated like this. And when that treatment is not met, you become upset, you become angry. When you are in weak positions, you compromise. You know there how to compromise. But when you are not in weak positions, you misuse. You react. Don't we do this? Which is fine. It's part of being human. But being human is not who we are. We are the beings, the pure being. And there is no separation anywhere. Ramana Maharishi, in this book, Who Am I?, says, the true nature of our existence is being consciousness bliss. Existence, consciousness, bliss. We are alive, we are conscious. And this fact alone is bliss, which is not dependent on any conditions. It is not attached to the story that is running. It is simply remaining as this pure presence. And that's why Ramana Maharishi said, be as you are. Not as you think you should or should not be. Just be as you are, and you will know the truth. The more you run your mind to accept, to find acceptance from others, the more you will find yourself in conflict, confusion. The true source of happiness lies within you. And it is closer to you than thought. It is your most intimate experience. So it is not to be sorted. It is not to be sought externally. It does not require hard practices. Although all practices are beneficial, and it is also okay to train your mind to be quiet, to be mindful. But at the end, true peace will come with the understanding that you are not the mind, but the presence that illumines everything.